Well, thanks for staying with us on the program this morning. Our first guest, who is a social commentator and a public analyst, Mr. Yusuf Muyideen, is in the studio this morning as he joins us on the conversation. Hello, good morning, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, and good morning, viewers.
Well, today marks a one-week national mourning period following the loss of Nigeria's former president, retired General Muhammadu Buhari, who passed away at the London clinic in the UK at the age of 82. This was after prolonged illness. I recall sometime last week, Gabeshewu disclosed that the president was gravely ill. Unfortunately, he's kicked the bucket. What do you make of his passing?
Good morning, viewers. And as we are human beings, our life was taken from the earth. We are molded from the earth, and surely we shall return to the earth. Now, and as a Muslim, when we lost someone, the Prophet enjoined us to always recite "Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun," which means that from Allah we come, and to Him we shall return. And as it is, Muhammadu Buhari has answered the call. This life we have is borrowed, so no one is promised tomorrow. And as such, the number of days assigned to the person of Muhammadu Buhari on earth has come to an end. One thing that matters is that in the space of time, how did he live? What are his legacy? What did he live for? What did he stand for? And if we want to exhaust the personality of Buhari, I think it will take us the whole day. The S3 is 82 years on earth. Bit by bit, as a statistician that I am, that 82 years is about 30,000 days, about 42 million minutes, more than 2 billion seconds, 2.5 billion and more on earth. That's a glorified number of days or seconds. If you calculate by the volume of water it takes in a day, I take millions of liters when he was alive. If you say how many chicken has he eaten in his lifetime, you have eaten countless of chicken.
On that, at some point, Gabeshewu said that he resorted to eating beans and rejected monies budgeted for his presidential meal.
Whatever. I want to, before we come to that, Muhammadu Buhari, 82 years on earth, about, I've just said it earlier, that about 3 billion seconds on earth. So if you look at the number of air we have breathed, he has breathed. If he has to pay for it, that's an humongous amount. So it's a gift of life that God has given him to have seen 82 years. So I said, Warhamhu, may Allah make his soul rest in a perfect peace, and his family, Allah should give them the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. And the nations, one of the person that has left in this earth, we're about 195 countries in the world. And to be a president of one of those countries for 2 terms is a rare gift of life. Muhammadu Buhari lived
beyond 2 terms, even.
Yes, as I think 3 times as a soldier, he was a president. In his true career that he get to the top.
Now let's talk about his life of service, particularly with service to his nation. And it's become history that he's the first president to emerge defeating an incumbent. It's among some of the remarkable things he did. Besides the coup which brought him in as a military ruler, he served 2 terms, much like you rightly quoted. Now talk about his life of service to us. So how much of a legacy and impact did he leave on Nigeria?
You know, that is what we normally talk about in football parlance, the best of the best. Like when you talk about the best 10 footballers in the world. Now let's come to the Nigerian political space. The only person that is as lucky, more luckier than Muhammadu Buhari is the person of Olusegun Obasanjo.
Lucky in what sense?
In terms of have the opportunity to be at the top. And
so you believe it's luck that brought him into power?
I'm just giving you our life is a gift from God. What we do with it is the gift we give to life. I think you are with me. So I'm just trying to be more spiritual, because if we look at it holistically, there are some lessons we are supposed to deduce from the personality of the person of Muhammadu Buhari.
Talk us through those lessons. What
So
lessons
now,
can be learned?
Muhammadu Buhari as a soldier, He was one of the most fine and refined personality. You know, in the army and the military was a rugged world. In fact, I can't see a rugged, I don't want to use the word rugged, but a very disciplined and tactically disciplined profession. Muhammadu Buhari came out as one of the most refined personality the Nigerian army has ever seen. He and Idi Agbon stood out in terms of not being corrupt, and he stood out in terms of very disciplined. And in his service of soldier, I want to refer you to one of his experience when the Chadian army or the Chadian rebels are disturbing Nigeria. He was serving in the Borno command then as an infantry officer. Do you know that he was given an order to march out the rebels, to the Chadian rebels as at then? Do you know that Muhammadu Buhari marched them close to N'Djamena? The president of Chad has to call Shehu Shagari as at then that your officer is coming to overthrow my government. Buhari has to get a call back. That's how ruthless Buhari was as an officer and a tactical officer. That's one of the mechanized corps of the Nigerian army, one of the strongest units in the Nigerian army. I think the first of that unit was in Ibadan. This unit was established and framed by Muhammadu Buhari as an officer of the Nigerian army. Today, it will remain one of the most tactical and the most respected units of the Nigerian army. Muhammadu Buhari saw to it. During the Obasanjo era, the person of Muhammadu Buhari was the first Minister of Works. Then the Ministry of Works combined both the Ministry of Petroleum, today, combined the Ministry of Works and Housing. This is the pioneer ministry that set up those three component ministry. This ministry was headed by Muhammadu Buhari. The glorious NNPC of today was set up, was commissioned, and the brand of the refinery we are having today, both the Port Harcourt refinery, Warri, and the Kaduna refinery, were initiated by the handiwork of the person of Muhammadu Buhari. These are one of the places he held. And in his tenure as a soldier, there is a slogan that greeted the Nigerian space: is war against indiscipline.
Now, this war against indiscipline campaign between 1983 and 1985 lasted barely 2 years before he was ousted by a coup. But it also faced some criticisms of human rights abuses. In your opinion, was the war against indiscipline campaign by Muhammadu Buhari, then the military head of state, a success? That is a adage I've coined in recent time. You see, if you are selling long life and prosperity, those who do not want to live long and they do not want to be prosperous, they will not buy. Today, we have China and most of the Asian tiger, the Japanese of this world, and there's one popular, Singapore. The only thing that make them tick today is discipline. Do you know there was a time in China that people eat food from the dustbin? But when the communist leader took over, what they first entrenched was discipline. So if the Buhari war against indiscipline was allowed to see the light of the day, maybe Nigeria would have been better for it. So the problem is that the fact that you criticize something doesn't mean it's wrong. Criticism, as peaceful as water is, some people can still critique it. You understand? Water, water is life, but some people can give you a criticism on water, as important as water. Like Fela Nicola Pokuti says, water, get enemy. Let's talk about the economic policies during his time as military head of state as well. Coming in, he inherited somewhat much indebtedness. But he also made it part of his key goals to pursue and recover stolen money back to the coffer of Nigeria.
As a military head of state, right?
Yes.
You see, Buhari as a person is a person that is tactical. Your training shape who you are. As a military person, I think he's more of a tactical officer. So when he comes to discharge his duty as a president, he go for the tact. So the tactics of Muhammadu Buhari as a person is that the moment, there's a say is that if you put your child at the right path at the early age, when he grow up, he will know the right path to follow. So Buhari is the kind of person who want to make sure that we get it right tactically as a nation. When the tactics are okay, then we can move forward. So Buhari as a person has always used those tactics. So that's why his economic policy, a policy as a soldier that look into what is the cause of this problem, how can it be solved. You know, there is a tendency for businessmen in this part of the world to hoard and take goods for when it is very expensive and bring it to the market. It's one thing that has stayed with us for so long and has caused a lot of economic hardship. Muhammadu Buhari find it that to discipline those people so that they will know that hoarding is not good for the economy of a nation. So Muhammadu Buhari is a kind of person who wants just to be tactical. So, and the tactics may affect some people, and anybody that the tactics affect will always cry foul, and they will say this economic policy are not good for them. But by and large, why you do what you do is the most important thing. So Muhammadu Buhari as a person has always had the interest of this nation at heart, and as such has rendered a selfless service. And in the course of doing so, you will step on some toe, and it's normal with life. As you pass by, you will step on toe. But the main thing is that if you look at the policy, does the policy, if it has been allowed to see the light of the day, will it have been the best for the nation? I think Muhammadu Buhari mean well in every time he try to bring off a policy.
Let's not rush it.
Yeah.
It's a timeline in his years of service.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want for us to rush this conversation.
Yeah.
Let's take it beat by bit. And hence I started from his time as military head of state.
Yeah.
Now coming up to August 1985, when he was then ousted by General Ibrahim Babangida.
Yeah.
General Ibrahim Babangida is one of those also sending in tributes this morning.
Yeah.
Talking about President Muhammadu Buhari as a moral compass for the North. Let's take it through these timelines. I know you're in a hurry to eulogize him and pay him his tributes, but let's take it time so that our audience also follows this conversation.
Yeah.
August 1985.
Yeah.
He's now ousted out of power
by the Babangida-led junta.
Now, the same person is paying him glowing tribute.
Yes.
How do we juxtapose this?
No, you know, in life, ever since the creation of man, Abel and Cain, rivalry has always been the source of our aspiration sometimes. Then if you move among friends, everybody, when you have 35 of you in a class, everybody wants to become first. And rivalry will set in, sometimes jealous, and but by and large, they are colleagues in the military. I think they have they are the same rank. And one of the finest officers that might have come out of the Nigerian military is Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida and Muhammadu Buhari. And despite the rivalry, the forth and back, both of them were able to ascertain and attain their destiny of being one of the greatest leaders Nigeria had ever seen in the military era. And now that Buhari was able to taste it in the civilian regalia. So what I'm just saying is that in life and death, we must know that humanity counts most. So the humanity in IBB will make that. You can't take it away from Muhammadu Buhari. Even me, that I'm sitting down here, I have served very closely with Buhari as the National Secretary of Buhari Support Organization in 2014-2015 election. So I work closely with him. Some of his political decisions might have affected some of us, but by and large, what a man has in him, you must always acknowledge it and give it to him. So Muhammadu Buhari as a person has lived a life that, our life is, last week or a few weeks ago when I was on this program, you said I should pass his government in the ratio of 1 to 10. And I tell you on the average, he scored 5/10. So, but despite that 5/10, how much impact was he able to make?
Now you're bringing us to another part of his life of service.
Yes.
He's the 15th president of Nigeria.
Yeah, as a civilian.
As civilian. His emergence in 2015, you've talked about the role you played in his campaign organization, the birth his election.
Yeah, but what the Buhari Support Organization in 2015, we work closely with him. Muhammadu Buhari is the kind of person, when he believes in you, only body language will make you work hard. He talk less, but anytime he said something, that thing will be printed in the pace of time. Like, Nigerian youth are very lazy. you need a volume to explain what he was trying to say there.
Now, he's made a lot of those rhetoric.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
Those famously came in his campaign.
He hardly talks, but when he talks, it takes volume. Like there are this particular set of people like dot in a cycle. You must be an intellectual to be able to unravel the in-depth of what Buhari is trying to reach at.
Let's talk about his popularity, because it will be remarked as one of the things that made him emerge victorious in the 2015 elections, particularly from the angle of ousting an incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan at the time.
You know,
now, last week at a book launch, the debates were on the number of votes the coalition brought in to add to that victory.
You know,
it was on record that his popularity had already earned him 12 million of those votes, and the coalition barely brought about 3 million votes to add to that.
I'm in Northern. I'm from Kwara State. I'm from the north central part of Nigeria. So the debate of across the lines, the framers of our constitution frame it in a way that you need a quorum to win an election, and one vote is very, very important. One of the speakers at that book launch was former Mustafa Boss. You know, sometimes people
Secretary to the government of
people who do not make any input in a fight are the best to make a judgment.
So you believe the former SGF didn't make much input?
It's just an opportunist. But that's a discussion for another day. If you sit down one-on-one, I will tell him when Buhari was contesting his CPC, what was his role? The truth of the matter, when he was contesting ANPP, what was his role? When the Asiwaju-led team of the ACN came in, you know, in 2011, they tried to do a merger, and the merger did not seal through. And Buhari has to go for Bakari as the running mate from the southwest. It failed, and he chose a Christian because, you know, Nigerian dichotomy of having a Christian, we have been reduced so low to the time that your religion is a qualification for you to hold an office. Whereby there are so many meritorious angles that we're supposed to judge a personality on his conscience, his stability, and how he relates with people. But that aside, when the Asiwaju-led SCN came into the party, they rebranded Buhari as a person. Buhari was winning the North. Yes, twice he has more than 11 million votes, both in 2003 and in 2011 when he contested against Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. But what I want to tell you that 2015 became a game changer, because the level of popularity of Buhari has always remained in the North. He was not able, and when you have 36 states and the FCT making 37, if you do well only in 19, the constitution say you must win 25% in at least 25 states, and you win the popular vote. That's what the framers of our constitution say. So there are men of ingratitude. When you do anything for them, they will always find a way not to show gratification. The writer of 48 Laws of Power rightly said, the moment you do good to some men, an ingrate has been born. And from the statement of the former SDF, Mustafa Boss, that's what I see. He was a product of ACN. The part Asiwaju played in his emergence as the secretary to the federal government is well known to those of us that were in APC cycle. But you know, some people just talk, and when they talk, they don't link their thoughts with their words. But let's keep that aside. We are here for a day of mourning. Muhammadu Buhari is no more, and we have to extray his life so that we that are living, we can learn a lesson on the type of life he lived. So controversies that surround his personality should be put aside, because today is no more. This is the moment we should mourn him. Then we should try to learn and extract lesson from the thing he taught us as a leader when he was alive. Muhammadu Buhari is an embodiment of a lot of things you can deduce from his personality. I've already talked about a man being tactical and a disciplinarian to the core.
Mr. Yusuf, now I know it's in good faith that you're asking for these controversies to be set aside, and for him to be paid his respect.
Respect, yeah.
Why do you think that when you go on social media, a lot of Nigerian youths do not share this sentiment? Is it because of the famous quote, Nigerian youths are lazy, made by the former leader? Why do you think that some people are not empathic for
if you live in an era that was no social media, I have a friend in Kenya and another one in Tanzania, And a lady in South Africa, when I was growing up, so we used to exchange letter on a weekly basis. I would go to the post office to be able to reach that person. I know what we went through. So today that you have social media doesn't mean that you should just, because you can just at the click of your hand, you know, the pace at which information are disseminated through social media is making our brain not to be able to function properly anymore. We have to even look into that, go into the future. How many people have a book that can read up to 200 pages in a week now? So we are not intelligent people are no more brain breeds. Some people, their brain is on the social media. They are the place where they extract their information is the social media. And let me tell you one thing, the real knowledge we need to move this world, only 10% are on the social media. The real knowledge is in the library. They are in the archives of electronics.
These are people shaping.
No, they are. Let me give you. They try to shape conversation like the narrative of Peter Obi in the last election. But the polling units are on ground. So some men are focused on ground.
Bring it back to the situation.
So now let me give you.
A former president has passed, and
yeah.
Is it based on that rhetoric of Nigerian youths are lazy? Hence the reason why majority of the comments you find.
Well, that's why I said you must look at the. If he said, "I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody," it will take a very consciently intelligent personality to be able to deduce what Buhari is saying. He hardly talks. So when it says Nigerian youth are lazy, let me give you a broad base. I'm a youth by right. But one thing I want to let you know is that Buhari at my age had already achieved the unthinkable. He was a president. He was a minister. At what age? You that you are busy on the social media, where are you now? So if you just pose such comparison, you will know that Buhari is trying to pass a message. But it's not everybody that can pick a message and deduce the factual. And then there is one thing that we should separate from the reality. Social media is meant for people who have a particular type of phone. We have 200 million Nigeria. How many Nigerians could boast of having an Android phone? So I think they are in the minority as far as the real problem that we have in this nation. So social media should not be a place where, even if they think they frame or they frame the opinion and mold the opinion of those people that are always on the social media. Then there are people that have attained an intelligent question to question every message they digest. So they don't shape, so like I'm on social media on a daily basis, but it's not everything that you give me that I will take. The other day, something happened. Somebody passed an information to me, and the information I've not seen it in any mainstream media, like your media outfit and the other media like the NTA and the likes. So I told the person that, what is the source of your information? He said he just saw it pop up on his phone. So, and have you read it? They are trying to link one particular chairman. He said they said they've removed a particular chairman. I said, have you read it? He will now open the message. Then when we open the message, we will now look at it. They are referring to another chairman. He was referring to a national chairman of a political party. Whereby the story was talking about a state chairman in another state. But when he just saw chairman, he just concluded that it was the chairman of the national. You understand? So some people will just read the caption on the social media. In fact, some people, they don't have phone, but somebody will show them. Then they showed it to me, and before you know, they will go to town with it. So even the social media space need a lot of modification to suit the knowledge base we try to drive. If we need to, like in the Asian tigers that I said, that is the age you will be allowed to even own a phone. They are so disciplined. They know that it will not allow you to develop your intelligence fully. So like Japan, China, and so they have regulation for a time that you will start holding this phone, and parents are advised to strictly adhere to it. If not, some people go to jail for allowing their wards to have so because Nigeria is a free state and everything goes, doesn't mean that social media has come to a space to shape her. They shape opinion of those people who are their minders, people who listen to them. So that's what I think as far as social media is concerned. And I think this morning we should focus more on the person of Muhammadu Buhari, so that we can. But
then again, it's why the media is here to sample opinions and views.
No, but social media is.
If it's not a single narrative,
yeah.
you miss the
social media has come to do more harm than good.
I will agree with you on that.
To the psyche of our nation.
I won't agree with
you. I know
it's on the basis of communication and
is debatable.
In everything you have, there's a good and a bad side. You can't say social media has come to
let me tell you
evil. Mr. Lawal, let's come back. Let's not digress. Mr. Yusuf,
war has been ignited through social media.
And lives have also been saved. So you can't say that.
But the advantage,
it doesn't outweigh it. You don't have the statistics to back.
I can.
Let's come back to the conversation.
Okay.
Moving on to another issue now. This morning is the issue of how best we can reflect the humongous loss following the exit of a national icon.
Yeah.
The federal government has ordered 7 days of national mourning.
Yes.
Flags are to be flown at half-mast. What do you make of this? How symbolic is it to mourn a former president in the like of...
let me start from this angle. When the PDP was in power for 16 years and as President Muhammadu Buhari took over, I'm a traveler because of my field of study. I studied geography, so sometimes you just come with me, let me go and see a particular place, so maybe to do a research and other thing. When Muhammadu Buhari, there are an area of projects around Nigeria that are left undone. And year over the year, you will be seeing contract being awarded. One of them is Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Do you know that when you are traveling from, let's say, Ilorin in Kwara State, down to the Ibadan border to Lagos, the whole length of the journey is supposed to be 4 hours or 5 hours. But the moment you get to the border of Ibadan, Lagos, you can spend the whole day. Period to the emergence of Buhari as the president of Nigeria. In his first 4 years, about 50% of that road was cleared and made motorable. That the travel time was drastically reduced. And before he finished in 8 years, the only part left now is the Ibadan junction, where there is a very hefty bridge that needs to be made. If you go to Jeba in Niger State, Kwara State, the road used to be a narrow road and a lot of ghastly motor accidents are known by that road. In fact, tanker will litter that road, and if you are to journey along that road, you are not sure of not spending 2-3 days on the road just from Mina to Ilorin. When Buhari came in, there is a contractor that has stayed on that project for 20 years. He refused to finish it, and they are doing their sharp practices with the Ministry of with the work they do in the ministries. I'm sorry to say, but Muhammadu Buhari put his foot on the ground as far as that project is concerned, and before you know it, he gave a matching order, and the contractor has to refund or complete the project within a specific time. As I'm talking to you now, the one lane given to that contractor has been finished from that particular point up to the junction that link Ogbomoso to Oyo State. So Muhammadu Buhari make sure that that road is fixed. Today, passenger on that road will never forget Muhammadu Buhari for that. If you go to Zaria Kaduna Kano Road, is one of the roads that is supposed to be the live wire of the Northwest in terms of movement of goods and services. It has the 16 years of PDP was the road remained moribund. Today, one of the roads you will move fastest on is Zaria Kano Kaduna Road. Muhammadu Buhari fixed it. And if you went to the university in the early 2000 to the early 2000 to 2010 and the late 90s, when Muhammadu Buhari was the head of PTF, the areas of road he rehabilitated across Nigeria using PTF money across villages is unprecedented. If you go to the Federal University today, there is a Marco Polo bus brought in from Brazil, a Mercedes-Benz. The quality is still, they brought those buses in when Abacha was the president of Nigeria and Muhammadu Buhari was the head of Petroleum Trust Fund. Those buses are the bus as lifesaver and mover of students across the universities in Nigeria. There is no federal university in Nigeria that Muhammadu Buhari did not give that bus to. If you go to the university today, you still see them. They call them Marco Polo. The quality, there has not been any vehicle as sustainable as those Mercedes-Benz in the Nigerian university. You will see it if you go to any university today. Muhammadu Buhari brought it in. Then, no medical facility that belongs to federal government. You will not see bedsheet, mattresses, even paracetamol that had PTF and some drugs that have PTF logo christened on it. Muhammadu Buhari made sure that all federal medical center have the drug that could give you a first aid at real time. So a man that has touched life to that extent, I told you about the NNPC. The NNPC we are proud of, the refinery we have today. Muhammadu Buhari have his imprint on it. Then as a civilian head of state, when he came in, he was able to bring a lot of policy to bear. And his fight and crusade against anti-corruption, which is the canker worm that's eaten to the fabrics of the Nigerian state. Muhammadu Buhari was at the forefront of championing the fight against corruption, even when corruption fight back. But you cannot put it off Buhari as a man who emblemed the fight against corruption in his lifetime. So, by and large, mourning such a man and flying the flag at half-mast for the president is more than deserved. And the present president coming to this party, you know, they came together to form the APC. You know the pivotal role that Muhammadu Buhari played in making sure that there's stability in the APC, despite of all other political party. The indiscipline that are inherent in other political party is not prevalent in APC. It was as a result of the leadership of Muhammadu Buhari. Then as a soldier, there was a time Nigeria was at the civil war. They are the infantry, they are the men that put the boot on the ground, put their bone, blood, sweat to make sure that this country was not disintegrated. They are the officer who championed to see the Nigerians still remain the most populous black nation on earth. He is the man. He was one of the soldiers that put their boot on the ground to make sure that we remain united. And today, there is no field of human endeavor that Nigeria they are not front runner despite our challenges. These are the leaders that made it happen. So that we have the nation Nigeria. Muhammadu Buhari was the man who championed, one of the men who championed to make it. And today I hold my chest so high among the Committee of Nations that I am a Nigerian. I'm a proud Nigerian because these men have put in their sweat to bear. So flying the flag at half-mast, declaring 7 days of national mourning, I think Muhammadu Buhari has paid the due as a leader and in his lifetime of service. Then to many of us who are coming up, you see, when I see a man at 70 having sleepless nights, for me to be able to sleep, it gives me a lot of source of concern as to when he said Nigerian youth are lazy. Today, at their age, look at the present president, they are not sleeping so that we can sleep.
Hold on. Let's talk about the current president from the angle of an emergency FEC meeting.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Tuesday, there's going to be an emergency FEC meeting.
Yeah.
What do you propose is on the agenda?
No. When an Iroko tree fall, it make all other tree in the bush to vibrate. So the fall of an Iroko tree will call for a deliberation among all other trees. That if an Iroko can fall, what do we do? You know, like I'm trying to say, the Buhari personality should go beyond. There are some men, their lifestyle was like a library. What they live and stand for was like a embodiment of knowledge. Although Muhammadu Buhari is not perfect, and
at the FEC meeting, what should the delegation?
So what I'm saying is that the FEC meeting is maybe converge so that some necessary things, like now, the National Library in Abuja, I'm just giving an example, maybe named after Muhammadu Buhari. Going forward, and the president can say,
you think deliberations
and so we do on how to immortalize the person of Muhammadu Buhari. I just want to break it down. Now, Muhammadu Buhari stand for something. The ICPC house or the EFCC house was named after Idiagmo. I think it's the EFCC house, Idiagmo house. It's because as a staunch person who stand against corruption in his lifetime and in discipline. So when they build, they say, who the cap fits? Who can we give this name? Because Muhammadu Tunde Diagbon was no more. They give the name. So tomorrow at the FEC meeting, because the president we have now is a man that only believes in teamwork, and he wants to call all the team together so that they will deliberate. And what I've said earlier, the fall of an Iroko tree will make all other trees to come together and find a way so that it will be properly immortalized, and the decision will be made in a collective manner. So the president doesn't want to make a unilateral decision. That's why he called for an emergency NEC meeting. I think former head of states and other will be in that meeting. It's just to give a credence to who is due. And I think Muhammadu Buhari, in his lifetime of service, deserve much more.
Now, in keeping with the lineup, as we continue to discuss this, we'll give you footages from our files in a build-up from when he was military head of state between 1983 to 1985, and to his first term as president when he was inaugurated in 2015, and his second terms as well, more famously for statements he made. He also issued public apologies following his end of tenure as president, saying that for anyone he has hurt in the course of his years of service, they should find a way to forgive him. Most of that is also trending on the online space as well. Now, in the wake of the 7 days declared by the federal government for national mourning, more tributes, or deluge of tributes, are pouring in this morning, with many reflecting on the legacies of the ex-president. He also would be accompanied back to his hometown of Daura in Katsina State by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, who flew to London alongside Bajabiamila to accompany the body back. Now, it's on that angle of conversation as well. He spent quite a number of days whilst as president in hospital.
Yeah.
He's had a long time struggle with his health status.
Yeah.
On that part, how would you judge it? Because it's part of the controversies. Many have talked about the state of our healthcare facilities in the country, owing to the fact that we should have been able in some way to ensure that he was well taken care of here in Nigeria. Considering that most of the doctors in London as well are Nigerians, but the lack of adequate facilities to take care of the health of our high status individuals, more or less presidents, talk more or less of the average Nigerians. Yeah, what do you make of this?
That's why I said Muhammadu Buhari himself is not a perfect person. But do you know that when Muhammadu Buhari took over as president, the health facility in the villa was of the moribund state? It took Aisha Buhari to source for money to put it to the state that can even take care of the staffs at the villa. And if you have a record of checking out your health abroad with a particular doctor, you know people normally keep their physician over time. So if you're, there are some profession, they have attained the global village status. A good cardiologist in Nigeria can be sorted after all around the world, and sometimes it will lead to what we refer to as brain drain, and people move across.
Medical tourism as well.
People move, the professionals moving abroad to go and work in the facility due to incentives that are presented, and maybe Nigeria as a country is yet to be able to present such an incentive. But by and large, Muhammadu Buhari, in terms of provision of health facility in Nigeria, maybe has not tried his best. But going for medical trip, even common man, there are some ailments, they will say the specialists or people who are good at taking care of it are in India, and so you are best in terms of checking herbs, tea that give you good health. Maybe the plant is not in Nigeria. If it's in India, and you need to sort it there, you can go there.
All right, hold your thought there. Let's expand the conversation as well. We have another guest joining online this morning, Patriot Desmond Olariwaju, 4OB, president of the Nigerian Nexus, joins the show virtually this morning. Hello, good morning to you, Patriot, and welcome to the conversation.
Good morning, Bito. Good to be with you this morning.
Now, Patriot, you're joining us at a time when we're officially commencing 1 week of national mourning, with flags to be flown at half-mast to honor ex-President Muhammadu Buhari. I've been in conversation with Yusuf Muyideen here in the studio as we've discussed this issue. It's a review of the timelines of his years in service and how much Nigeria can do in terms of our national mourning. Let's get your thoughts.
First of all, I'd like to start this morning analysis by first of all sending my condolence, my heartfelt condolence to the family, immediate family of the former president Muhammadu Buhari and the good people of Nigeria. It is my prayer that God Almighty grants His family the fortitude to bear this irreplaceable loss. Having said that, the news about the demise of former President Muhammadu Buhari, is met with a lot of reactions, as there were not factual. There were not factual facts about what was actually happening to him before this news broke out. I saw that on his page, posted by Shehu Galba. It's really saddened that just 2 years leaving the office, also this is coming to the Nigerian people. It was a big shock to the Nigerian people. And what I want to say is that there were reports that he has died of leukemia, that is blood cancer, and so many other reports. And about 300 days to his assumption of office, he was also sick at that time. That a lot of people said Buhari is dead, Buhari is alive, Buhari is alive, Buhari is dead, and that actually took the center stage of media interaction for more than months during that time. So now, confirming to the world, to the Nigerian people, that truly our ex-president is late, and it is a fact that now he is resting. So it is really something that has actually sent a strong shock to the entire people, even me myself. You can see the inconsistency in my analysis, because I'm still saddened and shocked by this news of his demise. But the point I would want to respond to is that it is what it is. We need to start, improving on our health care facilities. I can tell you for fact that this news of the death of President Muhammadu Buhari has sent a lot of reactions. Before now, anytime there were there is a sickness, even to President Bola Ahmed, you always find out that they are always traveling out of the country to either Germany, to either London. That is to tell you that our health system needs to be worked on in a way that we can help to save the lives of not just the president or the people in power, but the lives of the Nigerian people. That should be looked to. You see, our health system is a carrot, is in a state of comatose, and I think the leadership of this country needs to look into that, to strengthen our healthcare system, to provide first and quality health to the Nigerian people, not always traveling out. And every man of timber and caliber in this country always leaves this country. Just some few days ago or weeks ago, we also heard about the demise of Dan Tata. That was in Saudi Arabia, and now it is the turn of President Muhammadu Buhari. We always find out that every high-profile individual in Nigeria always looking out of Nigeria for medical tourism. That has to change.
Now, Patriot, Desmond, thanks for that submission. Let's also move on to another death, and you will be able to relate more with this. The Awujule of Ijebu land has also passed on at the age of 91. He was a very good friend of the late President Muhammadu Buhari as well. Can you tell us about your perspective of who he was as the Oba of Ijebu land, and how much of service he has given to the land in 65 years he was on the throne?
Well, Oba Adetono, the Awujale of Ijebu land, a paramount ruler of the Ijebu people, has been on the throne for over 65 years in Ijebu, where he was crowned king many years ago. And I can tell you that he is monarch in West Africa, one of the oldest monarchs in Nigeria on the throne. He has served his people. He has brought about transformation. And don't forget that Oba has been one of the modest Oba in the history of Yoruba land. He has seen a lot of presidents. He was around during the time of coup, all through the time of coup, a counter coup in Nigeria. He has seen different military presidents. He has seen different civilian presidents. But one thing is common about all these presidents is that Oba Adetono is one of those Obas that has galvanized a lot of respect by his people and the ruler of this country. We find out that the Goodluck Jonathan had always visited him in the palace. President Muhammadu Buhari also visited him in the palace. Even before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu became the president, he also visited him in palace. He is somebody who has lived with modesty. He has lived with sincerity. He has served his people. The entire Ijebu land. I am presently in Ekpe, and don't forget that Ekpe is also an Ijebu land, and the demise of Oba Adetono, the Awujale of Ijebu land, has thrown a lot of mourning, and he has his death has left a lot of people shocked since yesterday that the news broke out. But the good thing is that Oba Adetono has lived with indelible mark. He has left with a legacy. A lot of people had wished that a lot of people admire his kingship over his people and how he has portrayed himself as a monarch, as a traditional ruler in this country. So he is more or less like a celebration of life for.
All right, let's see if we can accommodate other discussions away from the tribute. We'll come back to take final tribute and also look at our files to give history to our viewers based on the passing of the ex-president and the Awujale of Ijebuland, Oba Adetona. In the meantime, some political stories making the rounds of concern and interest this morning is the APC, which is looking to have a major shake-up of its National Working Committee ahead of December's convention. Before I get your thoughts on this, let me get the thoughts of Mr. Yusuf Muyideen, who is here in the studio, an ardent APC member himself.
Yeah.
Now, your party is looking at rejigging the NWC structure. This is also in line with the fact that there's a vacancy in the office of the national chairman, although an interim is holding the state.
The interim chairman, the person Ali Abubakar Dalori, he wants the chairman not. Normally, if there is a vacancy of such, he's supposed to step in just to keep the ship steady till when a neck will be. And you know, before you can hold a neck, you have to notify the INEC 21 days before the neck.
There's a date for that, 24.
Now on 24. So that's why the neck is coming up on 24. Then as it is, the tenure of this particular NWC is winding out. On normal climb before the election, all political parties are supposed to hold a convention to choose leader from the ward level down to the national level. So, and that's supposed to come up in December before even the health issue that took out Ganduje from the picture.
That health issue has become another controversy following his appointment as the board of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria.
You know, the rigorousness of being a chairman of a national party at this electionary time deserve somebody who is physically
So you think
fit.
that the fan board chairmanship position is more of a laid
it's just a weekly, maybe a monthly or even quarterly visit to the board. They'll give you file, you peruse it, and it's restricted to just fan. Fan is a body that have offices all over the airports, just the aviation sector. But when you're talking about political party, just a state election can give you a heart attack. So you need to be very, very vibrant, fit, and medically sound. So he might have taken advice. I said it in the last time I visited. He must have taken advice from his medical team, and they tell him that
let me be sure that Patriot Desmond is on the same page with you. Patriot Desmond, we'll come back to you. Yeah. Patriot Desmond, are you still with us? Yes, ahead of this NWC shakeup, one of the issues raised here, I'd like to get your thoughts on it, is the fact that the former APC chairman, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, stepped away from that position owing to health concerns, but has now been newly appointed as the board chairman of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. Mr. Yusuf here is making a case for how much work is required to be national chairman vis-a-vis that of the office of the board chairman of FAN. Do you agree with him?
I beg to differ that Ganduje left office as a result of health issue. That is totally a fallacy. The truth of the matter is, to some extent, I would like to agree with him when he said that the party is due to conduct their convention in order to change their leadership. That is long overdue. Originally, the chairman of the party is supposed to have left that office. I'm talking about Dr. Ganduje. But having him still in the office for too long is actually encroaching into another person's tenure. And Olariwaju, before now, there are so many factors that led to Ganduje's replacement, and that is now setting motion for the convention. One of it is that you cannot separate the rumor that is going on presently between Olariwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a viable running mate from the northwest, as well as the issue of retirement of Ganduje from the old situation. Whether you like it or not, Ganduje will be replaced, and the earlier is better. Ganduje also was given the opportunity to choose whichever board he would love to share. Don't forget that some few weeks ago, we got a news that he was appointed to be the chair of railway, this railway corporation. But I think he's not convenient or comfortable with that. He told the president that he needed a replacement as part of his retirement package. As part of his retirement package. So he chose, they gave him open book to choose where he wanted. And he said, okay, he wanted the FAN. Now, he was not removed. He left under consensus and agreement so that he can create a space and a room for new chairman to come in, possibly from North Central. And Olariwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there have been rumor that he is not returning Shetima. And if you look at the antecedent of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Lagos, you will find out that he's not the kind of person that loves to use one vice president for 2 terms. When he was the governor of Lagos State, he removed Bukno, the deputy governor, and replaced with Ferry Pedro. He's that kind of person. So you don't expect Olariwaju that unless he has changed to retain.
All right, Patriot Desmond, let's bring it back to Mr. Yusuf. You've heard from him. He disagrees in some state, agrees with you on some parts. But to the issue of the convention now, how much of work does the APC have with the opposition coalition looking to garner strength under the ADC? Do you think that this coalition would be the most defining moment in the APC's history?
Well, one thing that I just want to react to some of the
very quickly because of time, and then get to the question.
One thing about information dissemination and passage is that you should be factual in any information you want to alleges or you allege as this and that. Rumors are not supposed to be substantiated and being brought to a national TV. Rumors are rumor until when you get it. But factual thing that a statement was issued by Ganduje himself that
noted. Now to my question.
Now the coalition. You see, as for me personally, it's too early in the day to start politicking. We still have a long time. Let every political party shape its NWC and the structure on ground. As I'm talking to you now, every polling unit in Nigeria, about 200,000 polling units, APC have somebody there. The last election, there's a political party that can only cover 40% of that number. As I'm talking to you now, there's no single local government in Nigeria that APC do not have an office. 765 local government. APC have a standing neck committee to the zonal level. Where if you see a legal advisor of the party, we have a zonal legal advisor. There is no state in Nigeria that does not have one national NEC member.
So if I deduce correctly,
as far as the structure on ground is concerned, the next general election is for APC to lose. If they do, because of, as far as I'm concerned, the only formidable party, more than 75% ready to take on any political party in this country today is APC. Coalition is a pregnancy that has not been given birth to. So you don't know the type of child they
we
want
have to go very quickly. I'll get to you in a bit. Patriot Desmond,
and
before we let you go, I'd like you to quickly react. He said the election is APC's to lose, but right now we don't know if it's sort of a sideline coalition. Labour Party's factional chairman, Barrister Julius Abure, had a meeting with the FCT Minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike. Now, this has also drawn reactions from the Senator Nanedi Usman-led camp, who are kicking against this meeting between Julius Abure and FCT Minister Barrister Nyesom Wike. Is there much to be deduced about this meeting, and do you think it constitutes any of the perceived anti-party allegations making the round?
First of all, Nigerian political space right now, we have seen a lot of things that is anti-constitution. A lot of things we see that happened in our political environment is totally against the principles and the ethos of political parties. There have been a lot of anti-parties activities very far from governance. And they always paint it to say that there is difference between governance and election, that this is not electionary period, and that is why you can see some of these romance between this party and that party. But the truth is this: all these things that is happening is still pointer to the fact that there has been a lot of anti-party championed by Wike and so many other people within the system. So if there is anybody that should first be accused of anti-party activity, we have to start with what? The 5 governors that worked hard to deliver Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the Southwest, headed by Barrister Nyesom Wike. And there are a lot of, so every other political parties now, they are learning the game from Wike and other people. So for me, it is anti-party, and there are ways you can have meetings. You can have meetings, secret meetings, without putting it out there. So when you put it out, you are trying to send a message. That's how politics work in Nigeria. The next thing you're going to see in the next 2, 3, 4 days now is that you'll be seeing the result of some of those meetings. What they first do is to test the water with pictures. So when they send the picture, don't forget that there's going to be an accompanying message to that picture. So let's wait and see what is going to happen next.
Fingers crossed then. We must thank you for taking our time. We'll rejoin you hopefully within the course of the week to bring us up to speed on other issues in Lagos. All the best. Thanks for joining us this morning, Patriot Desmond.
The pleasure is all mine.
Well, back to our studios. We're going to say big thank you to you in a bit. I see you're looking to give a tribute. Can you do that tribute in 1 minute?
Yesterday, when the demise of President Muhammadu Buhari was announced, one of his close ally, Dr. Ibrahim Bello Dauda, the coordinator of Buhari Support Organization, penned a nice goodbye message to the president, which read: we just say a goodbye to a president. We say a goodbye to a fine gentleman, a man who carries Nigeria on his shoulder. Muhammadu Buhari, a name echo in history book, but a weary sight of a mother praying and waiting for a son who is at checkpoint. In a silent resolve of a people who perpetually tested is in history, Buhari has walked through the assiduous, marked deep water valley of hard-won Nigerian plateau. A think tank, when we think back in time, he said, childs are being held, child are being kidnapped, local government are being seized, but Buhari Muhammadu put his feet in the test of time. Uncompleted project littered the space of Nigerian space. Muhammadu Buhari came and changed the narrative. Today, airports are moribund, runway are scattered. But when Muhammadu Buhari took the stride, today, our airports wear a new look. He fought toothlessly, despite the pain and the faint hurt, but he did not buckle. on the space of time. He stands still, despite the pain on his shoulders, despite his blood being clogged. Muhammadu Buhari did not refuse his own pain to reshape the destiny of Nigeria. He brought his little discipline to the space, and today, Nigeria is on the ride again. Courtesy Muhammadu Buhari. Goodbye, General Muhammadu Buhari, says Dr. Ibrahim Bello Dauda as he penned the paper.
Thank you very much, Yusuf Muyideen, for your time on the program this morning.